Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today we're going to talk with my live audience around the issue of whether or not Splinterlands is dead. Is this thing going to keep falling? The card values, the tokenomics, is SPS going to zero? Or do we have huge higher highs to reach one day? In 3 to 4 years, where's this SPS Dow going to be at? What would that do for our game? The conversation needs to first start with bear versus bull market and what fundamental considerations can you look at? What analysis can you do to ascertain where we are at in that cycle? I think I have some meaningful contributions to this conversation. I hope you'll stick around and walk through it with me. And I hope you'll consider joining the YouTube community tab and supporting the channel so you can be present at these live events in the future. Guys, have an amazing day. God bless. Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Good morning to you. Belated Merry Christmas to you guys. Crypto Beaver, Hewitt. Gathering. Oh, dude, you're here. We'll probably talk about all day today. He said, what were you talking about? I like your idea. Rented cards providing. I was reading some of the comments before I jumped on here. I saw the great question from Crypto Beaver. We'll definitely talk about that. Or where do we think the Dow will go in 3 to 4 years? What's that going to do for us as the Splinterlands, economy and game? Lots of fun things, right? Lots of opportunity. Interesting options happen if price appreciation happens. And, you guys know that I have confidence that some of the tokens we're holding in that DAO are going to be explosive in value, because I think right now sentiment is in absolute gutter because bear market, because it always is in a bear market. Bitcoin is dead, people say, and you've heard it a million times. Is Bitcoin dead? I don't know, man. I can't see how. Like, even FTX, even all the craziness, I just can't buy that this decentralized technology that opens so many doors in countries and nations and across the world to exchange value and to hold value outside of a system where governments will say, you can't do X, Y, and Z. Well, people want to do X, Y, and Z on their own agenda and at their own time. And so freedom, liberty, like these desires are real. There's a ton of people that have invested in and held that token for a long time for those to reach that sort of availability and option, that sort of liquidity, that, and they're willing to ride volatility. And I don't know, man, if it was going to go to zero, I think it would have already done so. I just don't buy that it's now, like now is something, the straw broke the camel's back. Even if Tether, even if, fill in blank for Black Swan event that we don't yet know. I just think right now there's a ton of anxiety, frustration. My bags are way lower, and that is translating into, Splinterlands is dead, because the two are connected. Whether Bitcoin survives or not is a conversation about the sustainability of cryptocurrency. And whether Splinterlands survives or not is a conversation around the sustainability of cryptocurrency. Because you either believe that this technology is revolutionary and bringing something new to not just finance, yes, finance, but not just finance. How about gaming? How about ownership? How about decentralized governance? Like all of these are different. Each of them is a different conversation. And I think each conversation is powerfully important, and points to the fact that this technology is definitely not dead, and therefore I expect there to be a new bull market. Is it months away or years away? I don't know, and I don't frankly care, because I am having fun enjoying the space at this moment. And in my past experience, I've seen how the biggest gains are accumulated during a moment when no one's paying attention. And that's now. So my view is just keep your head down, keep doing what you're doing. There's a bunch of people out there. There's tension, there's anxiety, there's frustration. My bags are way lower. I saw a great video recently. I saw 2 videos. Let me comment on them now. I saw a great video recently, and I'm going to forget the guy's name, but I did shout him on Twitter so I can show you guys. I'll mention it here. Brand new. There's lots of content creators, man, that are just getting started with this thing and enjoying Splinterlands for a variety of reasons. And stay with me. This will circle back to the DAO and where we see that happening. But I saw this video from this guy here. He lost 80% of his Web3 gaming wealth, and here's why I'm still into it kind of thing. And so it's a longer video. I think it was 20 some minutes or whatever. It's a great video. Like, I mean, he's just talking to the camera, but he's, you know, he's kind of funny. He's charming. He's got some insights on not just cryptocurrency, but Splinterlands specifically. And he goes, yeah, man, it's been wildly volatile. I lost a lot of value. I learned some lessons in that process, but you know what? I'm not done here. I don't think this is over. I just think this is a bear market. And that's one take on where we're at. And that's my take too, by the way. You guys know that. If you've been following the channel, you know that's where my head's at. The question is, where do you think we're at? Because this is one view. This is the bullish view. Like long term, we just keep our head down. We keep plugging away. We invest that time and attention. We're going to receive trivial rewards, and over a long enough time horizon, that's going to translate into something big. That's the bullish view, and that's my view. Otherwise, I would just sell all my assets, which are still sizable, despite significant depreciation since the top. My investment is still very sizable, 50, 60,000, something like that. And I'm trying to add to it regularly. So I'm still super bullish because I think that's the view. I think we're in a bear market. I think there's frustration and anxiety and depression, and, you know, there's that sentiment of everything is going to die. This revolution is over. There's nothing, it can't come back. It was all, you know, vaporware and nonsense. But that's just the sentiment of this moment. And I want to prove my point almost, because there's a video you guys might not have seen, or maybe you did see, kind of blew up. It's called Worst Crypto Game Ever. And it's from this guy named Juan. Shout out to Juan. If you ever want to come chat about this, because, you know, I love Splinterlands. I cover Splinterlands all day, every day. And he did like a 30-minute video kind of crapping on Splinterlands. I don't think it was entirely unfair. He makes some fair criticisms around, liquidity around DEC, but he misunderstands how DEC works and how our tokenomics work. He misunderstands how the cards have utility. He seems to maybe, I haven't watched a lot of his stuff, so I don't know his whole background around blockchain, but he speaks about NFT technology as if it can carry no utility, as if it is always just, you know, pointless. And he didn't seem to fully understand the fact that like many of these cards are sellable. And he talked about how like really that's not possible. You get the asset and you can't ever sell it. My point in bringing him up is that he represents the opposite of my view, which is this idea that this is garbage, it's dead, it's dying. There's no liquidity, there's no players, it's all bots. There's nothing good coming out of it or coming back to it, and it's just pessimism. But frankly, it's my view that that video gets a ton of views. It got 2,200 views in 4 days, and he's only got 260 subscribers. He's got 52 likes, and it's only, you know, he's a small little, like he's got a small channel. So what's my point? You look at the first video that I talked about, that guy doesn't have, I don't want to click on it because I don't want to start his video. But if I come on here and I talk to you about how Bitcoin's dead, or how Splinterlands is dying, or how, you know, the devs messed up, if I kind of speak this dissent, and if I voice frustration, there will be so much appreciation for that content in this moment. Why? Because we're in a bear market. Not just a bear market, we're in the depths of a bear market. And conversely, picture back when DEC was 2 cents, which, you know, it was 2 pennies for a DEC, which is bananas. It's supposed to be 1,000 equals $1. It's worse than that now. And we're talking, well, 50 of them equaled $1. A 50, that's crazy. In that moment of bullishness, I've told you before, the comment section of my channel, and we could go back and look at some of the videos, but you look at, I talked about DEC is like way too high. Be careful, guys. That sort of comment, that sort of video. And people were like, no, dude, you don't get it. And they were accumulating SPS at 2 cents. And so you've seen this play out before. And my question to you is, who seems like they're standing on stronger foundation? To be shouting from the rooftops, it's all dying in the middle of a bear market, is almost by definition the sign of a bottom. And simultaneously to be shouting from the rooftops at the tops or at exuberant highs, things are never going to turn around and we're only going to go up. That's exactly FOMO. Like it's literally emotions being driven. And that's why some content like this gets so much appreciation, so many upvotes, so many views, partly because it frustrates those of us who love it. I saw one of my friends commenting on Twitter saying like, this guy has been deleting comments, and he dropped a comment saying there's a lot of haters in here. I dropped a comment saying I've watched half your video and I know Splinterlands. If you care to hear an alternative opinion, I'd say you're spending a lot of time covering the economy and getting several things wrong. Having said that, what I tell people is if you don't like playing Splinterlands, then don't try to earn with it. That's a point you make in your own way by mocking the game. It's gameplay. If it's not fun, don't play. I just happen to believe it is fun. Good video, mate, even if I disagree. And I do strongly disagree, and I'd be happy to speak with him if he wanted to, if he had any interest. I think for him, this was a one-off, but maybe because he's a growing channel and he gets like a blow-up video, I suspect we'll see more kind of frustration posted about Splinterlands because it landed. That would make sense from like an algorithmic, but that's my point. Frustration will sell in the middle of a bear market. Exuberance will sell in the middle of a bull market. My question is, are you trying to sell people something? Or are you trying to tell them the truth or help them, or even forget about tell them the truth? Are you trying to recognize the truth for yourself? Because that's my posture. Like when I come to this, I'm trying to figure these things out. I actually believe what I say to you, but I'm constantly testing it. And just this morning, I saw a great comment. Let's have a comment on this. A Racket, who's been with the channel, dude. This guy's, he has his own channel. I don't even know what he YouTube's about, but he's been such an amazing contributor to the conversation around Splinterlands, and not necessarily in always a bullish way. Sometimes yes, sometimes very critical, and always thoughtful. So a Racket, shout out, buddy. Appreciate you. He goes, this is another sentiment test. He goes, I love you. I wish you and your family the best holidays, but I think you have rose-colored spectacles. Don't get me wrong, I'm still going in. So he likes the game, but he's like, Dwayne, because I'm talking about, in this video, I was talking about soulbound reward cards done well. And I saw gatherings in the chat. Gathering, I'd love to, if you want, you pop on Discord and we'll talk maybe after I finish this kind of conversation, and then check in with the chat a bit. I'll give some shout outs here, guys, in a minute or two. But he goes, don't get me wrong, I'm still going in, but you have a knack for seeing negatives as a positive. Love you, brother. But I worry about these changes that reduce financial incentive to all. And this is a fair point, man. And I said to him, thanks, Racket. I see your concern. I'm not blind to the possibility this goes wrong. It could in a few ways. We do need liquid rewards or of some kind, or it's no longer play to earn. But it seems like there's a path where soulbound adds value without adding direct money value. Time will tell. And so everything, the devil is in the details, guys, on how the team navigates something like soulbound reward cards. I'm convinced it's coming to the game. And so then I have a conversation in a video like that, talking about how I think maybe it could be done well. And Gathering has done such a great job, doing his own content around that. And you guys know I love that stuff, and I'm a big fan of your channel, buddy. My point is, even someone like a Racket appreciates what I do, is like personally thankful to me, is wishing me happy, holidays. And I believe the sincerity of that comment, but then feels I'm being too optimistic. And so what do we do with these two worldviews? Because they're really, the whole conversation around the Dow comes back to what is going to happen in 3 or 4 years. And that boils down to that comment you hear me say so often. Do you believe that this game is fun and has a future? Al Racket believes it's fun and has a future, but is concerned about certain things. I believe it's fun and has a future, and I'm concerned about a few things. I think the team will navigate those well and wisely, to the best of their ability, not perfectly, but well and wisely. And I think we will grow and we'll gain and we'll see amazing prosperity, and it will take years, not days or weeks or months. And that's not simply a product, as some would say, as kind of bears and critics would say, it's not simply a product of like greater fool, which is one of the comments that I'm going to say Juan made in his video, saying like all these assets, whether it's crypto, DC, SPS, or cards, are just being sold to some greater fool in the future. And that's your opportunity in Splinterlands. No, the opportunity is the deflationary nature. Each of the assets is limited in number. Unlike other NFT projects where there might be infinite copies of a certain thing, this one makes X amount, and those X amount are, they have utility within a game that produces value. And you might not enjoy that game, fine, don't play it. You might not enjoy those assets, fine, don't play the game. But if you enjoy the assets because you like the game and you want to win at the game because you like it for its own sake, then set aside bear market, bull market, and just enjoy the thing. That's where I'm at. But behind that, even, I have that bigger confidence that that there is actually financial opportunity because I have seen us survive a bear market. And I think the nature of these assets, SPS gets burned, DEC gets burned, these cards get burned in the form of being consolidated. You can articulate arguments against what I'm saying around, new packs and card inflation, but I think ultimately my point holds true because older cards have different utility and newer cards have different utility. And so where did these things go? It begins with this conversation, this broader conversation. Where does the DAO go? What can that do for us? It begins with this broader conversation around, is this thing even going anywhere at all? I think it definitely is. I think we're in a bear market, and that's why videos such as that one by Juan blow up. Because if you say, if you express frustration that people are feeling, they'll grab on. Whereas a video like, I'll clip this later, this will get a few hundred views, but it won't blow up because I'm not expressing animosity. And even deep believers at a moment like this, guys like Alrakid come on and they'll say, I'm concerned. And it's fair. I'm not dumping on Alrakid. I have concerns too. But I believe the team will navigate that to the best of their abilities with wisdom and with their own interest in mind, which is actually unified with my interest. That's the cool thing about, capitalism in general. Like if we are both rowing in the same direction, we can benefit from one another. I'm playing a game and earning through it. Those assets have value. They're making a game and benefiting from it. We can row in the same direction and both benefit. But it's time horizon, it's timeline, it's years, not months. And so, swinging back to finish the conversation, where are we at with the DAO? What's going to happen there? What sort of doors is that going to open? Well, I think the conversation begins with all that. And as you just heard me say, I think we are definitely in the depths of a bear market. Now, does that mean it's days away from being over? I doubt it. I've said SPS, I think, could go to a penny. The team has said that they have, I think it was 18 months, a maximum sort of runway. But then I think the Christmas sale added some to that. So we'll see how that, I don't know where that leaves their money. It also depends on whether Bitcoin takes another leg down, Ethereum takes another leg down, because about 30% of their value, I think, was held in those two. So you can see that I have some concerns, and it's around their own sustainability. But I think even those concerns, I've talked in other videos about how I think they will navigate that. And I think their runway will be adequate. And I think they have ways of, even they've said they could sell partial ownership of Splinterlands, the company, and they would never release, a controlling share. But there's still so much opportunity to give them the finance they need to navigate this bear market, even if this is an elongated bear market. And I have no reason to believe it will be or won't be, but that is the foundation of the conversation. And I think we come out of it strong because of the preparation that the team has done and the layoffs that they did to financially make themselves viable for longer term. And that translates to preparation for the next bull market, which will happen, because I don't accept the idea that cryptocurrency is dead. I don't accept the idea that Splinterlands is dead. I believe, based on logic, not faith, and based on past experience, not guesses, that this game and this community and cryptocurrency broadly will rise again in a new bull market. And in that moment, we will see content that is bullish get thousands of views, We will see the game get tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of new applicants. We will see SPS and DEC explode into values that are not justifiable. We will see card prices reach levels that is not sustainable. And saying at that moment, any content saying, guys, watch yourself, will be ignored, crapped on, disliked. So recognize these two rotations and think for yourself, where are we at in this? And does this moment imply that we're dead, or does it imply that we're actually preparing to rise again because of where we're currently situated and the facts that are kind of visible around this moment? Because if we're going to rise again, SPS is going to be going, it was previously $1. I think we at least reached that $1. Like, it was only there for a split second, and that was when there was limited liquidity and whatnot. So you might argue that's not super sustainable. And I know there's tons of it, but we do have this burn mechanic, and we have 5 more years where it's being created. So maybe that's, maybe it's 5 years away before we get back into that range. I don't know. But I think he says in 3 to 4 years, where's the Dow at? I think it's far higher. And not to mention, we're adding new value to it regularly right now with Rift Watchers, and maybe in the future with something else, right? And also we're adding vouchers into it through the purchase of validator nodes. So the assets within the DAO are growing and will continue to grow. And maybe I wonder if they're being staked. I don't know the ins and outs of how that DAO is being operated, but presumably if there's SPS inside the DAO, it should be being staked to generate the 25% that's being provided through the SPS stake, 23.8%. And if that's the case, then this value, the number of units in that DAO continues to grow and grow and grow for 3 to 4 years, even if the price is currently declining, right? And so right now, it looks like, last I heard, it was a couple $1 million. They said it was a couple months of value, and they implied that they're spending about $1 million a month. So the last I heard from Agrid, I believe, is roughly $2 million worth of value in the DAO. At the tops, there's around $15 million. I think between the nominal growth in numbers of tokens in that DAO, meaning there will be more and more and more tokens in that DAO, and between the price appreciation of each of those tokens, which I believe will happen, DEC, SPS, vouchers, whatever else is in there. I know there's other cryptocurrencies too. I believe that those will translate into massive, massive gains. And if we were at $15 million before, I think we probably are going to exceed that. And then what does $15 million do for a game like this? Under the governance of a decentralized ownership, right? Like you and I have SPS, we vote on how they get spent. One of the comments was that we would definitely put that towards Binance and get that listing and then have that public accessibility. Timing that with the next bull market is the exact sort of thing that would translate to the FOMO we talked about, where people will make comments, SPS is never going to go down again. In that moment, you picture, we're heading up to, we're at 50 cents, we're at 75 cents, we're at $1, something like this. We get listed, we put through a proposal to list on Binance, we pay the fee, we make it to Binance, it goes to $2 or something crazy. Not because of fundamentals. Hear me. Fundamentals have nothing to do with the conversation like that. It's absolute insanity and FOMO in a moment like that, but it could happen, I believe. And if it happened, you'd see all the comments section talking about how they're doubling down, they're buying more SPS. And you'd see me saying, I'm selling SPS, guys, be careful, because certain people want to ride the trends of emotion and other people want to talk to you about what is probable and what the future likely brings, and also just trying to be realistic. So I'm going to be pessimistic when everyone's optimistic, and I'm going to be optimistic when everyone's pessimistic, for the reasons I outlined at the beginning, talking about sentiment and bear versus bull market. But that DAO is going to do crazy things. Finance listing is one of them. Now, I'm going to leave that conversation there, but if you guys have any comments on what I said or questions for me to elaborate, I'm happy to readdress that. But I'm going to spend some time here just checking in with the chat and grab a sip of my drink here too. I got a little Fresca. That was a nice little monologue there, boys and girls. Let me see what you guys are up to. Dennis Pavlov, 2 easy steps to reduce botting issues severely are implementation of SPS stacking to get rewards. Yeah, I agree. And then the mandatory Captcha every 3 battles. Can't bots just do the Captcha? Well, first of all, I hate captchas. Not to say you're wrong, Dennis. I do hate captchas though. They're annoying, right? Like, don't you hate that? You go to log into whatever site and then you got to do that stupid thing. And then can't bots do those? Like, why? Am I wrong about this? Maybe they can. Maybe they cannot, but I assume they can. If honestly though, I'd be okay with that if I had to. And I do see your point around the implementation of SPS stacking to get rewards. That mechanic being a thing that would deter massive bot armies. They'd have to buy an SPS bag. So that's interesting. Yeah, we haven't really talked about that. Maybe I do a video on that, Dennis, because that's something that I haven't really mentioned recently. And that SPS staking get rewards is supposed to happen soon, right? I don't know when, but soon. I'll have to look into that. Feels the Captcha wouldn't work. Okay, who else is out here? Astral Robot, X Philo. Blessings to you too, bro. Paul, good to see you, dude. Howdy. Web3 games will carry the next bull run because of this. People aren't selling their assets even after all the bear market. Yeah, dude. I think the strength of our community and the launch pad of our economy is the people who are here and who are holding tens of thousands or tens of hundreds or tens of dollars even worth of assets that have said, no, I'm not going to sell. I'm just enjoying this game. And if I accumulate something and it turns into something, great, but I just like it. And that's why it's so important that we all wrestle with that before we start getting dreams of riches and retirement and NFTs are going to change my life. Stop and say to yourself, is the game fun? And do you think it has a future? If you have that, if that's true to you, that is fun and has a future, you will persevere through any bear market, enjoying and accumulating. And when bull markets happen, because they do happen, and people like that who are living out of that fun and future worldview are the ones that will have accumulated assets that were trivial in nature over a long time horizon that explode in value due to the deflationary nature. And X-Filo is right, man. That's why, because there are people that aren't selling, man, and we just love it too much. We enjoy it. That means it's not that we're trying to sell on someone else's head. It's that we enjoy it. That's what critics don't get. They look at that like we're waiting for a greater fool. No, we're enjoying our time here. We happen to be accumulating assets, and that's going to translate into appreciation because we are locking up supply. We, the players of this game, we, the ones who love this thing, are locking up supply, which creates price appreciation due to lack of supply and at the same time as the increased demand. Not to mention cards being consolidated, which is essentially burning mechanics. All of that leads to appreciation. That's the deflationary nature we always talk about. That's how we see gain. Not because we're trying to wait to look for some greater fool, but because we're having fun in the moment. And then one day, as others recognize opportunity, as bull cycles lead to exuberance, people who are new will come bursting in the doors and overpay for 2-cent DECs and $10,000 common cards and whatnot. Like, it's just, things go crazy. Because that's just bull market, man. Most of the views are SPL community, says Hewitt on that one video. I bet they are, dude. I bet they are. It's good to see a video like that blow up because it tells me, you know what it told me? When I saw that, I thought, okay, he one, that implies bear market depths because that is blowing up. And then two, the ornery, passionate community of Splinterlands players is like, no, dude, like that's not it. Like, let me try to help you realize where you're wrong. And then I saw him drop a comment saying these guys are like spamming and attacking, and I mean, I doubt it. I sincerely doubt it. Did you get some thumbs down? I'm sure you did. But I mean, I don't think there's any sort of malicious response. Then again, to be fair, I didn't read all the comments. So if there was any malicious response, guys, cut that out. We don't need to be that community. Smoke Lord, good to see you, duty. I saw you dropping some comments in some recent videos, Smoke, and just kind of speaking to, I forget who it was. one of the guy, somebody dropping critical comments and just putting your 2 cents, dude, I appreciate it. Like helping the conversation, helping the community, helping different people with different views kind of see it differently. That's great stuff. Thanks, buddy. Having battles. I've been battling on that comment section, says Xphilo. I love it. He probably has 1,600 dislikes. Whoa, I don't know. You know, I don't get, man, this is like a separate conversation. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but man, the fact that YouTube took away the dislikes, it's like we are so soft, like, and myself included. We are so rich, and you know, everything we need we have, and we're just trying to bubble wrap the world, like helicopter parents, and you know, peanuts can't be in any school, and like no thumbs down because it's like, I guess, online bullying or something. I don't know, man. It all feels really like we're just so soft culturally. He has a gamer vision, which is all right. He doesn't quite fully grasp what Splinterlands represents. I agree. He's interested in analyzing the game. He didn't enjoy the game. And that's why I said in my comment, if you don't enjoy the game, then you really shouldn't, you know, you're not understanding the tokenomics. That was my first point. And if you'd like to talk, let's talk. But even the thing is, you don't even need to figure out the tokenomics if you don't like the gameplay. And he seemed to hate the gameplay. I mean, he was talking about how he didn't win a game. He played 20 games. I love it, and I always have, and I still am passionate about it. But yeah, he seemed like he is a gamer who is sincerely trying to understand blockchain, but also doesn't. And so that was holding him back. Gathering says the guy that lost value in his account, not that negative guy. Griffin Park is the name of the channel. Yes, that's right. Griffin Park is the one that lost the 80% of his value, and he is not negative. And yet, like I said earlier, his channel, you know, like the video didn't blow up in the same way. And so again, that tells me something about where we're at in the bull bear cycle. Battle Pass would be a great revenue stream for the team. I think so too, Gathering. I mean, the team has gotten a lot done this year. Absolutely, Deus. Lots more to do. But dude, this has been a wild year. I know the prices have fallen through the floor on a lot of the assets. But guys, that's just part of a bear market. If you feel your mind saying like, oh, that means everything's dying, recognize that sort of emotion and sentiment is like literally a cornerstone of the depths of a bear market. And there's a guy named Blockchain Backer. He covers XRP mostly, but he also covers blockchain just generally. And one of his things that he gave, one of the pieces of wisdom that I like that he gave, he said when Bitcoin was around 60,000, 40,000, even I think it was around 20,000, he goes, guys, you should keep an emotional journal. Like literally write every day how you're feeling about your investments in crypto. And he goes, when things are soaring, your notes are going to be like, it's amazing. And we're going to go to 100 million, billion, trillion. And like my life's changing and I can't wait to buy that farm and like whatever else. And then when things inevitably come back to ground, to earth, you're like, oh, it's over. Like that's where your heart goes. And you can reason through that and be like, okay, this is sentiment. This is me just being FOMO or fear. And you know what I mean? Like that, it's a very helpful process. Eli, good to see you, dude. Thanks for dropping comments. I want to say Aggie has said like 5 million of the SPS is in the Dow is staked. That's great to know, Hewitt. So that means it is garnering more SPS, which means it is going to grow in number regardless of what we put in there, but we will put in more through purchases of Rift Watcher packs as well as validator nodes. Always take profits when you can, says Gathering. Absolutely, dude. Gathering Magic, and also pay attention to town halls and peak depots that act quickly. That's true, man. There's some gold out there, and if you see like real big facts being dropped by somebody on a card or around like a new promo thing, you'll see price swings on different things because our audience recognizes things at various paces. This is what I've said to you guys around monster flipping. It's also what I've said to you around watching new cards when they get released, because what happens is we don't understand the meta until somebody tells us. And it's like, hey, this card's really game breaking. And Coral Lurker came out and it was like 15, 20 bucks. And then I think Bulldog did a video talking about how evasive demonstrating how evasive it could be. And the price just doubled. And it stayed there roughly. It's like a $30 card because we see the utility there. And I think if you can be the person who sees that, you can buy those deals. So whether it's staying on top of town halls and peak D posts, or whether it's just navigating the system yourself and recognize those opportunities, there is those sorts of multipliers are so available even in bear market, which is really cool.